Hi everyone, it's Lana from Lana Under Pressure, and in this video I'm going to show you the ins and outs of using the Omni Plus. Now this video is going to be a detailed video on the Omni Plus. Now the Omni, the Instant Omni, and the Omni Plus are very much the same. I would say about 90% of these two appliances are pretty similar.
So both the Omni and Omni Plus have exactly the same dimensions. They both come with exactly the same accessories, so they're actually interchangeable if you happen to have both, which, you know, if you're crazy like me, you do. They both use a top and bottom heating element. They both have air fry, bake, broil, toast, roast, reheat, and dehydrate. And when you're using recipes for the Omni, you can also use it for the Omni Plus. The time and temperatures are exactly the same.
So if you want details on how to use this, I would go ahead and check out my video, the beginner's guide video for the Omni, because it's pretty much the same. What this video is going to do is going to go over that 10% of things that are very different.
Now I'm going to go over this in the video in more detail, but the difference between the Omni Plus is that the Omni Plus has 4 levels for the baking rack. There are presets and smart programs. It has a different interface and there's buttons. It has a non-stick coating inside. And it has a slow cook and proof mode. Now another difference is that in the Omni Plus you can rotate and change the fan speed in the reheat mode, where in the Omni that function is not available. Now one of the most important differences that I think you need to know between the Omni and Omni Plus is that in the Omni Plus in roast mode it uses both the top and bottom heating elements, but in the Omni it only uses the top. So why that's important is if you are doing a recipe made for the Omni where it says that you can put foil on the bottom or the drip pan on the bottom in the roast mode, you can't do that in the Omni Plus. So either you have to use the air fryer mode that only uses the top, or don't put foil or the drip pan.
Now the accessories that come with the Omni Plus and how you use them is almost exactly the same as with the Omni. So if you want more details on where to place the rack and things like that, I would watch my Omni beginner guide video. However, there is one big difference with the Omni Plus on where you're going to put the baking rack. So with the Omni and the Omni Plus, where you put the baking rack has the 3 positions for the different modes, and they're exactly the same. However, because the Omni Plus has the slow cook mode and the proof mode, you're going to see on the outside here, it tells you where normally the drip pan would go, that's where you're going to put this baking rack. So whenever you're using slow cook mode or proof, you're going to put, instead of the drip pan, you're going to put the slotted baking rack right at the bottom. Now one major difference that the Omni Plus has is that it has a non-stick coating on the inside, kind of like the Vortex. However, there is debate on what that material is made of. I contacted the Instant Pot company and they assured me that the non-stick coating, though it is non-stick coating, it is not PTFE or Teflon. That's not what the coating is made of. However, if you are leery of any non-stick coatings, if you have birds or anything like that where you really don't want to chance it, then the Omni Plus, you probably should go with the Omni because it does have, again, the non-stick coating. Now, is it worth, if you're not worried about non-stick coating and you like the idea of being able to clean it easier, the Omni Plus is great. I do find that it's much easier to wipe down after using it than the Omni is. However, the one place that it doesn't have a non-stick coating is up at the ceiling, and that's like the hardest place to clean. So that's not going to be any easier to clean than the Omni. Now the next major difference is probably something that's pretty obvious between the Omni and the Omni Plus, and that's the interface. So on the Omni Plus, it has, as you notice, it has buttons instead of where the Omni is all a digital display with the 2 knobs. The Omni Plus has buttons, and the reason that is because this has presets where the Omni doesn't. So let me explain. The Omni Plus has the 7 modes, just like the Omni does, but it has the slow cooker and proof mode. So this has 9 different modes. Now, under those 9 modes, for instance, if I press air fry, you'll see that underneath here in the display, it'll say fries, potato, wings. It has different presets. Now that's very similar to like the Instant Pot presets where it has poultry, rice, and things like that. And the way that you would change between those presets is you would use this knob on this side. So that will toggle between the different presets. And you'll notice that as I change between, say, potatoes, wings, beef, the time and the temperature changes as well. So what that is again, just like the Instant Pot preset, it's just an easy way, they call it a smart program. It's an easy way if you've never used it before and you're wondering what time and temperature, it gives you a general time and temperature for the preset is that you have. So the question is, are these presets, how do you use them, and are they really worth it? In my opinion, I don't use the presets at all. If I'm going to air fry something, I use my own time and temperature depending on the recipe that I'm making. And it actually is the same with the Instant Pot and their smart programs. I very rarely use any of their smart programs or presets because it's only giving you an average or an idea of what you would cook, say, potatoes on air fry for. So if I press air fry, and then I go to potato, it's going to give me 380 degrees for 22 minutes. But it doesn't know how many potatoes I'm cooking, what size they are, how I want to cook, are they cut, you know, things like that. It doesn't know that. So it's just giving you an average start. So I usually use my own time and temperature depending on the recipe. Now, if you don't want to use the presets and you want to set your own time and temperature, that's very easy to do, and that's usually what I do when I'm cooking with the Omni Plus. And the way you do that is you would pick a mode.
So we picked broil, and we're not going to worry about this preset button. We're going to come over to the time and temp button, and when I change it, it changes the time, or I press it in, and then it changes the temperature. And once you've set the time and temperature you want, make sure that you press start.
Now, in order to change or use the convection or the rotate buttons with the Omni Plus, you first have to not only put the mode and the time and temperature, but you have to press start first, and then you can change it.
Once you press start, if that mode allows you to change the convection fan speed, it'll light up, just like that. And you press it for high, press it again, and it'll change it to low. And then if you want to rotate, you go ahead and press that in.
Now, another thing when using the Omni Plus, just like the Omni and the Vortex, you can change the time and temperature while you're cooking, while, you know, in the middle of cooking. However, what you have to remember is you have to, in order to do that, you have to press the button in order to do that, and I'll show you.
Now let's assume that you're in the middle of cooking, it shows cooking, and to adjust the time and temperature, you're going to press in the button once, and then that'll adjust the time. And when you're done, you press it in again, and that way you adjust the temperature. And you put that to where you want it. And then the important part is to make sure that you press start.
One thing I'd like to go over in detail is the two modes that the Omni Plus has that the Omni and Vortex doesn't. Now, the Omni Plus is the only one that has the slow cook mode and the proof mode, and I'm going to explain those to you now. So a lot of my readers and followers want to know exactly what the slow cooker mode is. And the best way that I can describe it is it's not necessarily like a crock pot, because you're not supposed to leave the Omni Plus or the Omni or the Vortex cooking by itself. So unlike a crock pot where you can put everything in the morning, go to work, come back and it's done, you can't do that in the Omni Plus. But what you can do is you can things that cook like a pot roast, or I've done pasta bakes, things like that that you want to cook low and slow over time. Put it in there and then do your other things around the house, and then it's ready. So it's more like an oven in that way, not really a crock pot. However, I've used it and it does a really good job of cooking things low and slow. Now, the kind of recipes that you can do under the slow cook mode, you can do crock pot style recipes. Now again, like I said, you can't leave it by itself, but you can convert your crock pot or slow cooker recipes to the Omni Plus under slow cook mode. For example, this is one of my pasta bakes that I've done in the crock pot. And it's a really simple dish, really easy for a weeknight. It's just pasta sauce. You can add ground meat, cooked ground meat if you want, but this is just pasta sauce, a half a cup of water, and then I put some macaroni noodles, about a half of a box, and then I put mozzarella cheese on top, and then I slow cook it. Usually when I do it in the crock pot, I'll do it on low for 2 hours. Now remember, this is at 210, so it's a little bit hotter, and because it's an oven, not necessarily a crock pot, you do the way that I find the conversion works is you would take about 30 minutes or 45 minutes off of the time and check it. So where this cooks in the crock pot for 2 hours, my pasta bake cooks for 2 hours, I found in the Omni Plus, it only took 1 hour and 15. But It does a really great job, and you can use any casserole dish. I put cheese on top, and then you stick that in the oven under slow cook, and then after about an hour and 15 minutes when you're ready to eat, it's already done. Super easy. The proof mode is just like your proof mode in an oven. So it's used for proofing bread, which is, if you're not used to bread making, you have to let the bread rise, and it usually has to do at a room temperature. And it's really, really great. I really like it because I do make a lot of bread. I make pizza doughs and things like that that have to rise. And because I'm in New York City, especially in the winter, it's really hard to get this house warm enough to proof bread. So the temperature range on the Omni Plus proof mode goes from 70 degrees to 100 degrees, which is about room temperature, really perfect. The time can go from 1 minute to 4 hours. And that's usually the perfect amount of time that you need to proof, especially, quick using instant yeast. Now, I like to proof my breads. I have a glass bowl like this, and I usually proof my bread in a glass bowl, and I cover it with saran wrap, and I put it in the oven. Well, this big bowl fits perfectly with the rack on the lower position, just like that. So as far as proofing bread, I think it's really great. Now, is the Omni Plus worth getting it just for the slow cook and proof mode? And that's the question, and that's really an individual choice. For me, I don't really think so, because the slow cooker I can do in my oven or I can do in my crock pot. And most of the things that I slow cook anyway, or I used to slow cook, like pot roast and things like that, I do in the Instant Pot because it comes out quicker. So even though I have used the slow cooker function on this, and it works really great, I don't know if it's worth the extra cost. As far as the proof mode, my oven has a proof mode, so I don't really find, and if you also live in like a warmer climate, you really just set it out on the counter, you really don't need it. So it's completely up to you whether you think having the slow cook and the proof mode is worth the extra cost. Now, changing some of the controls is a little different between the Omni Plus and the Omni, and I'm going to show you how to do those now.
Now, to change between Celsius and Fahrenheit, it needs to be in standby mode, or say off. You hold the preset knob for 3 seconds, it'll change to Celsius. Hold it in for 3 seconds again, and then it'll change to Fahrenheit. Now, to turn the beeping on and off, you would hold both knobs in for 3 seconds, and that will turn the sound off, as you see. And if you want to turn it back on, it needs to be in standby mode or off. You hold it in for 3 seconds again, and it'll turn the sound back on. Now, the sound in off mode will still beep if there's an alert.
So I hope you enjoyed my video on how to cook with the Omni Plus, and I hope it makes it a little bit easier. And again, if you want more details on the specifics of cooking and where to do that, where to place the trays and things like that, I would definitely go ahead and watch my Omni Beginner's Guide video, because it's pretty much the same other than the things that I went over today. You can also find more information on my blog, www.lanaunderpressure.com. And I hope you'd enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye!